Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce, and this is the cheapest suppressor-ready lever action available in the United States. It is made by Rossi. It is called the Rio Bravo. It only holds 10 rounds because it has a shorter magazine tube underneath, but the magazine tube is also situated lower than normal because there's a little bit of space there, as you can see, and that lets the magazine tube, whatever that's called, to be able to be removed with the suppressor remaining on the rifle. The very first ammo I'm going to try out in this is Federal Auto Match, mainly because it's what I grabbed when I was walking out the door. I do have a bunch of suppressor specific ammo to test out later on, but for right now we're going to use this because I got a whole big box of it. All right, I'm shooting the lower left target there. She's pretty good. I may not bother sighting in at all if it's that close. It's a little high. All right, I think I'll just leave it as is so I can put it back on my pistol. So I don't have to re-sight it in once I put it on my pistol. Because oh wow, that was a good shot. Yeah, because I'm way too cheap to have an optic for every single firearm. I got way too many firearms, not enough optics. That was me. Oh yeah. I'm using a little bit of Kentucky elevation, basically. It's shooting a little high. I dropped it down. By the way, these are the first rounds I have fired in this rifle. So you are experiencing the first 10 shots just like I am. Beautiful. These next 10 rounds are CCI Quiet. A 40 grain solid lead bullet. There's no plating or anything on there. And they only have a muzzle velocity of 710 feet per second. So these will probably not cycle a semi-automatic action, which luckily we don't have. Boy, that was quiet. So quiet. Yeah, okay, shoot a little bit low now because that makes sense. This is going almost half the speed of the Auto Match from Federal. I believe that was me. We know the Rio Bravo is designed to hold 10 rounds of ammo, and if you open up the action, it can hold 11 rounds of ammo. How many can this thing hold if I'm using 22 shorts? I don't even know if this thing can handle 22 shorts, but we're gonna find out. Look at that tiny little 22 short. It can hold 15, so I'm gonna start adding them one at a time here. All right, 16. It's almost like a muzzle loader. It cannot hold, nope. So 15 is the limit for shorts. Quite a bit louder. Doesn't quite sound subsonic. It's right on the cusp of being subsonic, I guess. Really accurate though. Yeah. The sound barrier, it's like right on the edge of breaking the sound barrier. So why did I buy the Rossi made Rio Bravo? By the way, the Rio Bravo stands for Brave River. Maybe a river of lead, I don't know. But why did I buy this thing? Well, there are many reasons. Number one, I think lever actions are just cool. So I always want to find me a lever action, especially when they are reasonably priced, which this was, well, the cheapest lever action on the market. I also happen to think that 22 is a pretty nifty cartridge because it is all the fun and it's useful in the hunting world as far as small game goes, and it's super cheap. Again, there's a theme here, and that is cheap, because that's what I am. Thirdly, I think suppressors are cool, and this one happens to be threaded for a suppressor, and it is reloadable with the suppressor still on the rifle. And that is the biggest deal, because 22, if you notice, there is no side loading gate for a 22 lever action. They have to be loaded from the front. And that is unfortunate because the front is also where that suppressor is. By the way, this is completely empty, so see, nothing there. A suppressor, of course, screws on the very end of this barrel and is larger than the barrel by quite some margin. And when you're trying to reload, you got to take this tube all the way out or most of the way out, which means it's going to be going past where that suppressor lives. Most people are going to compare the Rossi Rio Bravo to the Henry lever action. Both are 22s, both are pseudo budget-minded products. The Henry, of course, is about twice the price of this guy. Now, outside of the general feel, the history, the action, man, after thousands upon thousands of rounds, over probably 10 years of ownership, that lever is still tight as a drum. A few things I know about the Rio Bravo. Number one is that they're pretty much all called the Rio Bravo. All the 22 lever actions have the same name, but not all of them are suppressor ready. Some of them look a lot more like the Henry. This particular model has the large lever loop, which is cool, and that loop has paracord that is color matched to the furniture, and it's wrapped around the bottom of that loop. Now, the reason why it is because that loop is super sharp, and people were probably complaining about cutting their hands open because the steel is not rounded off very well. It comes to a fairly sharp edge. Speaking of that furniture, since it is polymer, it's going to have a hollow feel to it, and this is super hollow. You could probably take the butt pad out and use that as storage. You can put your lunch in there, maybe some crayons also for a snack. This version of the rifle does not come with iron sights. It is intended to be used with a red dot or a scope. £6, 12 ounces. That is not a light trigger. So it has a ton of take up right there, as you can see, and then that wall of 6 pounds hits, and then you press through it. Is it the worst trigger I own? No, of course not. I shoot surplus firearms all the time, so this is a great trigger compared to most Mosin Nagants. But compared to a Henry or most modern firearms, it's kind of heavy and kind of rough and creepy as well. Unfortunately, the bench range at the actual shooting range is very full with a waiting list for people sighting in their hunting rifles right now. So we're back down at the farm, but I have built a makeshift bench range setup, which is better than nothing. Inside some ammo boxes, including this arms core, there is a target. It is I think it's a 10-meter target technically, but all you gotta do is just open that sucker up, cut it at the appropriate place, and you've got, is it a 10-meter? No, a 25-meter. 25-meter target right there. Now, it's pretty small, but I think it will serve its purposes today. All right, 25-meter target at 50 yards. Nice. I can't see because I got the sun right in my face here. That's basically hitting a quarter at 50 yards for the cheapest lever action 22 on the market. And it's suppressor ready. Oh, that was a little bit low. That might have been me. Ten rounds right there stacked up with only one outside of the black. And here is the quarter to show that a quarter covers up the entire thing. That is pretty impressive for such an inexpensive lever action fun rifle. We've now brought the Rossi lever action down to the steel range, where the steel is set up at 75, 50, 75, and 100 yards. And I'm shooting CCI clean 22, 1,000 feet per second, but these are seconds. You can see that right there. These are seconds, which means there's no telling what I'm going to get here. They were half price at Bud's Gun Shop, so we'll see. I have over an hour of B-roll of me shooting this rifle. So obviously, I like this rifle. Now, is it as nice as a Henry lever action? No. Is it as smooth as a Henry lever action? No. The trigger's not as good. The action's not as good. The fit and finish is not as good. But at half the price, you have a decent lever action rifle that will pretty much hit what you're aiming for and is suppressor ready.
Beautiful.
Well guys, that is it for me today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, questions, show ideas, go ahead and put that down in the comments down below. I'll try to get to as many of those as possible. The first couple hours after I upload the video, I do answer pretty much everybody who asks a question there. And as always, you guys have a great day. See ya. I believe that is it. Yep. What a fantastic rifle.